Lesson 9, Part 2B, Rule 8. We're on our last one, so let's review everything we've got so far. Rule 1, an open vowel and a closed vowel make a diphthong. Rule 2, two like vowels form the common long if one of them is already a long vowel. If not, if we've got a short vowel joining with itself, it's irregular. Omicron or omega with alpha, epsilon, or eta forms an omega unless it's epsilon plus omicron in either order, which forms an oo. Any combination of alpha, epsilon, or eta. The first one takes over and makes its own long. And then our first diphthong rule, a vowel plus a diphthong that starts with the same letter, the two similar vowels combine. Rule number 8 is a bit tricky. It's sort of the catch-all other rule, but there's a lot of little exceptions. A vowel with a diphthong starting with a different letter, the first two letters contract, and then the iota or upsilon gets added. Now, if the first two form a diphthong, the second letter of the diphthong gets dropped before adding the final iota or upsilon. So let's look at that slowly. We have an alpha with an epsilon iota. So we're going to join the alpha and the epsilon first. That goes with the rule about alpha, epsilon, or eta joining together first one, and it has its own long. So alpha plus epsilon is alpha. Then we're going to add in the iota, and that's going to subscript. Alpha plus eta with an iota subscript, the alpha and eta are going to join, and the alpha is going to form its own long, which is alpha, and then we'll put the iota back on, and we get alpha with iota subscript. Alpha plus omicron upsilon. It should be that the alpha and omicron join together and make an omega, and then we put the upsilon back on, but we, for some reason, don't put the upsilon back on. Why? It's just what happens. Epsilon plus eta with an iota subscript. The epsilon and the eta join together to make eta, and then we put the iota subscript on. Epsilon plus omicron upsilon. The epsilon and the omicron join together to make omicron upsilon. Because that's a diphthong that we need to add the upsilon back onto. That's the second part here. The upsilon of the diphthong that we just made, that upsilon is going to drop off. And then this upsilon is going to get added, and it's going to be omicron upsilon. Really weird. I know, that's actually what's happening. Okay, omicron plus epsilon iota. Omicron plus epsilon makes O, omicron upsilon. The upsilon of that diphthong drops out, and the iota from the original diphthong comes back in, and so we get omicron iota. This one is a little bit of an exception. Omicron plus eta should make an omega, but it's going to stay an omicron here, and the iota is going to get added. Now, those do have a couple of weird exceptions there. There are a few more combinations that can happen, but these are the ones that show up the most, especially in our contract verbs. So these are the ones you need to know. Make sure you memorize those two exceptions and get a really good handle on how this rule works, because it is a little tricky.